Human Resource Management System, HRMS. The authors are Shamir Muhammad, Shimaz Khan Sheikh, and Raga Sikar Ramangam from Utah Sur. I would like to invite one of the authors to present their work.
Good morning, everyone. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me share my screen first. Doctor, is my screen visible?
Yes, it is visible,
Okay.
Mr. Shamir.
Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I am Shamir Muhammad from IT Department, Utah Sur. I am working as a lecturer here. Today in our paper, a microservice framework for human resource system, Utah Sur. I would like to give a brief introduction. Like, let us say, go back to a year exactly. So everything was haphazard manner. The offices were shut down. The people cannot resume their work physically in their offices. So with this scenario, most of the academic staff started working remotely, whereas the admin staff or the other management staff at the different colleges of applied sciences, they have to come in person in order to perform the duties like admin duties or financial duties or for the registration department. So with this, there is no flow of data between the staff and the admin department and the HR department. So our paper fills this gap by suggesting a framework. So the most popular and the innovative framework which were prevailing in the market, current trends, is the microservices framework. So this is the main reason behind why we need to make a paradigm shift from the existing architecture to the microservice architecture. Okay, so as we know that the humans are the valuable assets, and managing these resource at the organization workplace is a very important task, and at the same time we have to utilize the resources in an optimal way, in an efficient way, so that we can get the employee performance and meet the business needs. So if we do this paradigm shift to this microservices, definitely it will be a win-win scenario for the organization as well as for the staff who may work personally or remotely anywhere in your geographical location. Okay. These are the possible modules what a common human resource management system at various educational universities prefer. Like they may have the payroll, staff leave attendance, appraisal systems, etc. Fine. Now, what is this study mainly about? So the first objective of this paper is to, as I told you, to make a suggestion of the framework. So the framework is called a microservice based architecture, which will help you to make our existing system resilient, robust, okay, and flexible at any time while deploying or while managing the changes at the HRMS Utah Sur. The next objective is, like as I already mentioned, to bridge the gap in order to flow the data, in order to flow the information smoothly from one department to the other department. As I have told you that during this last year, April, Most of the services were shut down, like Royal Oman Police have shut down the visa services, residency card services. With this, we were already submitted the leave applications to the HR department. So during that time, we were unable to know that what is the exact status of our leave. Neither the staff nor the HR department or the admin departments. So they are stagnant, they are isolated. So nobody knows what is the status of my visa, what is the status of my residency card. So to bridge this gap, so we can suggest this paradigm where we can design and implement this individual services which are called microservices, and integrate in this existing UTAS HRMS modules. So with this, we can make the system decoupled. So the existing system is a rigid one, which is very tightly coupled. Then the final objective is to implement this microservice architecture and compare the results with the existing monolithic architecture prevailing in our UTASUR HRMS application. Fine. Now we have conducted this systematic literature review by collecting the papers from the past 5 years. The papers were ranging in various architectural style paradigms, like few of them are from the monolithic, few of them are from client server architecture, few of them are following cloud computing architectures, etc. So what our study or the findings reveals that these are the available softwares are the tools, stack tools we can say, available in the open source, in the internet or in the cloud, which we can use, but each one of them are having their pros and cons. So we cannot straight away take it and implement it in our work location. We have to customize it. For that, you need to spend more time. For that, we need to spend more money. So as I have listed here, these are the stack tools which were already available to use these softwares in our HRMS module. So as I told you, now these more advantages are there in this previously, which I discussed, like UKG or Oracle HRM solutions, etc. But we have observed that the monolithic architecture has many disadvantages. So the monolithic architecture is also followed at this existing HRMS at UTAS-SUR. So what exactly is this monolithic architecture? Is the system which is built as a tightly coupled system. Let us say, like, if you want to make a change, simple change, you have to shut down the entire services. As we have noticed this one maybe like a couple of semesters ago using this SIS. So they implemented the grading system in the SIS. So due to that, they have to shut down the entire SIS portal, because that system is a rigid system. So just to implement a small change, so we have to shut down the attendance, we have to shut down the transcripts, we have to shut down the timetables of the students. We cannot do any task, we cannot even log in. Even at the time of every end of semester, before posting the marks, the registration or the admin people will shut down the services. Why? Because they have to calculate the attendance, they have to make the changes. So this is the basic drawback in the existing monolithic architecture. In the similar way, related to the HRM, human resource management application, the leave records are managed by the HR department. So that information is not flown to the admin department as well as to the staff or to the finance department and so on. Similar way, the salary records as well as the staff research records, there is no flow among the different departments. So this is one existing drawback in the monolithic architecture of HRMS Utah SURE. And the second one, as I told, the flow of data. And the final one also is like our personal and family record management systems. So our residency, our visa for our family, for our kids, and our academic qualification records updation, and also the staff portfolio management. So these kind of services, these kind of modules are lacking in our existing monolithic architecture at Utah's SURE. So in a nutshell, the system will be designed something like this. So all the services are tightly coupled and they are deployed as in a single shot onto the production servers. So any single change, you have to stop all these services. So right away, the HR is accessing through the legacy systems like maybe a graphical user interface. And some of the employees like SIS portal, they are using through web interface. Fine. Now, what are the other limitations? As I have told you, development time will be taken more when you want to make a change to any of the modules which I discussed so far. So it's a complex task. So development teams has to spend more time. If they spend more time, the quality will suffer. Frequent updates to the releases of the software cannot be done. And the application existing at Utah SURE is unscalable and it's not reliable due to this rigid behavior. So to overcome all these limitations, we have proposed a framework with this methodology called microservice framework, which will have a small autonomous modules which are called the microservices. They don't share any data, but they can interact with each other through the help of an API. So in our proposal, we will host a cluster of microservices where we can have the entire modules like managing the academic qualifications of the staff portfolio, their personal information like visa, residency, etc. So let me show you how the proposed architecture prevails here. So the web clients or the mobile clients or any IoT devices, through this gateway we can access the services. So these are the individual services. Let us say like the first service is responsible for handling the qualification. The second service is doing the task of maintaining the records of family and the staff. The third services will maintain the leave information, and the fourth services will handle the staff portfolio management activities. So here they do not share any data, but they can interact with each other through this gateway web UI. So in this way, the advantages, the benefits are more. The benefits like they are independently deployable. So yesterday, like say, I want to just make a modification to the qualification service. So I can stop only this service. Rest of the services will be available to the clients. The website or the portal or the applications will not be shut down. It will be running throughout 24/7. Only this particular module will be deployed onto the server. Okay, so as I told you that there is a gateway which through the REST API, representational state transfer architectural style, like a web service. So I will put a request, the server will send back me the data in the form of a JSON or in the form of an XML output. And future, like we can integrate with the IoT technology, they can access through mobile device or they can access through any other IoT device these services. Fine. What are the results if we implement this microservice architecture in the existing Utah SURE HRMS application? So the huge significant change we can say is the latency is delayed. So it will take less amount of time to perform the task, to scale the modules, and it will be fail free easy to identify the root cause of the problems, and moreover, the development and the operations called DevOps, the agile approach can be used here for integration and execution of the microservices in the existing HRMS UTAS SUR application. So it will improvise the life cycle process of development, integration and usage for the employees as well as for the organization. So I have compared here the monolithic and the microservice architecture differences. As I have told you before, you are going to implement it or deploy it in a single short way, one code base for the monolithic, whereas for the microservices we can stop and deploy at any time any services. So scaling is difficult in monolithic architecture and scaling is easy in the microservice architecture. And we use this IDEs due to this large and complex codes existing in the present application. It will take time to analyze and modify, so it will slow down the implementation process. Whereas when you divide it into small modules, it will be faster. We can achieve the
Mr. Samir,
yeah.
Time's up. Would you please conclude in 30 seconds?
Yeah. So in my conclusions, so what we have finally concluded by the suggestion of this microservices framework is, one thing is like the significant increase in the fastness and the speed and latency decreased, and it will be a good solution for both the organization as well as for the staff, because we are having a rigid system which is the monolithic architecture, which is having more drawbacks when compared with this HRMS microservice based architecture. It will reap more benefits. Also it is more interoperable when we implement it at the UTAS SUR. Almost this 60% or 70% of the solution model we have designed, and we are able to implement it in future in terms of speed and in terms of performance wise against the existing monolithic architecture at UTAS SUR. Thank you. So I will conclude this presentation. I will welcome you all if you have any questions and answers.
Thank you, Mr. Samir, for your presentation. Any question? Anyone has a question for Mr. Samir?
Please, Doctor, if you don't mind, I have one question for Mr. Shamir.
Yes, please.
Mr. Shamir, please, you are highlighted the issues here with the systems. So could you please inform us how long it's going to take if you are implement the proposed framework? And
sorry, can you repeat the question?
how long it take or implement the proposed framework?
Mostly in a couple of months or less than that, we'll be able to deploy it in the server.
But by which tools,
The
Mr.
stack
Shamir?
tools, the open tools, what we have used is like the Spring Boot framework we have used, and for the graphical user interfaces, TimeLeaf, and for the open source database like MySQL we have used, and the JPA technology we have used. These are the stack tools we have implemented, which are
Thank you for
free open source software.
Okay, Mr. Shamir. Thank you for your presentation and question.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Samir, in slide 12,
Yeah.
there is a diagram.
Yeah.
Can you view this in full screen, please? Yeah. The microservices 1 to 4, and this can be increased. And my question is about the existing services can be integrated as well?
No, the existing services is the monolithic. It's a tightly coupled. We cannot make a change. If you make a change, the development times and the deployment time it will take more. That's why we redesign or we propose the new solution by decoupling the services.
So at the end, the current HRMS should be replaced completely.
Yeah. And moreover, it's a legacy system. It's a strong while communication, while performance, but we cannot integrate or we cannot make a change.
I see. Thank you. Any other question? Thank you, Mr. Samir, for your presentation.
Thank you, doctor. Thank you very much.
Dr.
Al-Hamza?
Yes, thank you, Doctor.
Thank you.
I have to call the Arthur Nicholas.
Yes, sir. I am online.
To present his paper, Smart Water Management System for Efficient